Hi there everyone, it's Misty here. Happy Wednesday. This is a non-update update for Wednesday, May the 6th, 2020. Hi. So before we get started, this video may be a little rambly. I'm really kind of using this video as a way to get my thoughts out loud and kind of decide what I want to do going forward. So if you're new here, hi, my name is Misty, if I forgot to say that. I started keto in March of 2017, and I started keto to get off insulin. Right in the middle of all of that, I was undergoing testing for what would eventually be diagnosed as myasthenia gravis. So myasthenia gravis is a neuromuscular junction disorder that causes really bad muscle weakness. It's basically a neurological autoimmune disease. And yeah, so that had started October of 2016. So by March, I was really struggling in my day-to-day life, and I wanted to lose weight. And I knew that I couldn't do that if I was on insulin. So my goal has always been to get off insulin, with the side effect of that hopefully being weight loss. So weight loss has never been my huge, that hasn't been the main focus. It was the insulin. So by, I want to say September 2017, October 2017, I had been able to stop taking insulin, and I was basically diet controlled. Unfortunately, I left my job at the beginning of August, and my neurologist put me on immune suppression therapy in September of 2017. And she put me on mycophenolate, which is the generic of Cellcept. And it caused, by February of 2018, I started having hyperglycemia. And if you go back and you watch those updates, that first month of February of 2018, you will hear me be so flippin' frustrated and aggravated because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, for no apparent reasons, my blood sugars were elevated. I wasn't cheating. I was 100% carnivore. There was nothing in my way of eating that should have been causing those numbers to be elevated. And I kept asking, what can we do to make sure these two diseases are playing together correctly? I said, because I just watched my blood sugars get higher and higher and higher. And in August of 2018, my primary care physician put me on Farxiga. So Farxiga is a diabetic drug, and it's one of the drugs that removes the sugar, the glucose from your blood, and it goes out your kidneys. And one of the side effects of that is diabetic ketoacidosis. So I didn't really start having any kind of positive effect with that except until we got into the very end of September, 1st of October. And I have a video on this channel called How to Lose 15 Pounds in 7 Days. And I had, my ketones were over 1. I was dropping weight like nobody's business. But I was also having trouble eating. And I was also getting more weak than I already was. And by the second week, I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't figure out what. I remember going to my neurologist on that Monday, I think. No, I saw my primary care physician on that Monday, and I saw my neurologist on that Tuesday. And by Thursday, I had to call an ambulance to come pick me up and take me to the hospital. I woke up that morning at 7:30. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink. I fell asleep, and then I woke up 11:30, 12, and did the same thing again. And then when I woke up the next time, something said, you should probably test your ketones. And I tested my ketones on my keto mojo meter, and they said high. So I called an ambulance, who didn't believe me for 1 second that I thought I had DKA, because I knew. I was like, I'm in diabetic ketoacidosis. Can you please take me to the emergency room? And they were like, well, I was like, just take me. I was like, just take me. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm not, I'm not. I get there and the emergency room doctor is like, I don't think that's what this is. And I'm like, listen, all I know is I tested my ketones and they said hi. So fix me. I'm broken. Good morning, guys. It's Misty. Sorry, I'm editing this before I take a shower. I forgot to mention, they didn't believe me because my blood sugar wasn't elevated. So most of the time when someone goes into diabetic ketoacidosis, their blood sugars are in the 3, 4, 5, 600s. Mine was 179. So that's why they didn't believe me when I said I was pretty sure I had diabetic ketoacidosis. So I forgot to mention that, but there you go. Editing Misty out. He came back 20 minutes later and he's like, you're exactly right. You have DKA. So I had DKA from the medicine. And if you're unfamiliar with that, it doesn't have anything to do with the ketogenic way of eating. What happens is basically your body becomes acidic. Your pH is no longer balanced. And so in the way that they fixed that is they pumped me full of insulin for hours. I was in ICU for 2 days or a day. I don't remember. So anyway, the following February, so now we're in 2019, my blood sugars have still been elevated. They're back up because I'm off the Farxiga. And my endocrinologist is like, you have to go back on insulin because nothing else is working. And I did. And I came home and I filmed a video and I said, I'm about to gain all my weight back. And then at the same time, my neurologist upped my Lyrica dose, which is my nerve pain medicine, and that also causes weight gain. So when I went in the hospital in October, I think it was October 12th, for the DKA, I was at 357 pounds. When I started 2020, I was at 409. When I started keto, I was at 425. So I gained almost all that weight back. And I've been so pissed off about it this whole entire time because I just, like, I cannot live without that nerve pain medicine. Oh God, don't cry. You've got nice makeup on today. Anybody that suffers from nerve pain, you feel me. And if you've never suffered from it, it's really hard to describe. But before starting nerve pain medicine, I would wake up in the middle of the night because it would feel like my arms were literally on fire. Like they were literally in a flame, you know, in the flames. They were so just burning, and I've had all sorts of nerve pain because I have a condition in my neck and it's my entire back, but it's basically turning all the ligaments in my spine they're calcifying. They're basically turning to bone, and I have a smaller spinal stenosis. So it causes a lot of problems, and eventually I may end up paralyzed. So anyway, so I can't not be on that nerve pain medicine, and there's not a lot of options for nerve pain medicine, and there's definitely not a lot of options when it comes to myasthenia gravis. When she diagnosed me, she gave me 3 full sheets of medications that I cannot take because of the myasthenia. And anytime I'm going to start something new, I have to let her know so she can say, yeah, you can take that, or no, you shouldn't take that. So I basically just lost my shit. I was so mad. Oh, and we realized probably in March that it was the stupid immune suppression therapy causing the hyperglycemia. So I think I saw my neurologist in May and I said, can we switch? And she's like, why? I was like, well, this is causing hyperglycemia. And she's like, well, that's never happened in my 20 years or whatever. And I said, listen, I was like, there's nothing that goes in my mouth that should cause me to have my blood sugars be elevated. I said, so can we please switch? And we switched, and my blood sugars haven't been affected by the immune suppression therapy. So this past January, I decided that I wanted to reboot keto. I wanted to start all over. I wanted to start from scratch. I was on 100 units of insulin, and within that first month, I dropped down to 60 units. The issue is, when you are diabetic, any little thing can set your blood sugars off. Anything. Stress, pain, an infection, if you don't sleep enough, if you're like, there are so many things that can affect your blood sugar other than what you're eating, right? And the only thing I have control over is what I'm eating. So the one day, what was it, 2 weeks ago now, I woke up on a Wednesday with like nauseous. And then on Thursday, I developed a migraine, and I had that migraine for 4 days. I felt like absolute dog crap, and my blood sugars were elevated because I was in so much pain. And unfortunately, I can't get them back down. And it's mostly my fasting blood sugar. My day blood sugars have been okay, but my fasting ones have been over 200. So the last couple of days, I have been eating the low-carb bread from Aldi. On Saturday, I was making out our grocery list, and I put some lunch meat down, and I was like, man, I wish we could find that Aldi bread because I could really go for a sandwich. And Rob found it, and so I've had sandwiches the past couple of days. But I finished that yesterday, and I'm done with it. Somebody asked me why it wasn't keto. It's made with wheat products. It's got wheat gluten, and so it doesn't have grains. It just has a byproduct of the wheat. And I don't know, the last time I had it, it didn't bother my blood sugars at all. I have a fry yay or nay video on the Aldi bread and how I did it and how it affected my blood sugars, etc. So I don't know. All I know is I was down to 40 units of insulin at night. Okay, so sorry about that. That was a tornado siren. It's the first Wednesday of the month, and they test them, and it's less than 100 yards away. So, which I'm not complaining about because we're in the middle of tornado season, so thank you very much. Okay, what was I talking about? So at the end of January, I'd gone from 100 units of insulin to 60 units of insulin. I got sick in February, and we started the whole process over. I went back up to 100 units of insulin. And then the beginning of March, mid-March, I, got real focused again, and I got down to 40 units of insulin. In the last couple of days, I've been having to take 60, and my blood sugars have been over the 200s in the morning. So to say I'm frustrated is an understatement. And Monday was the first day that I was like, I want to binge on carbs. Like, I want every single carb that I've been craving for the past month. And yeah, I didn't, because I can't derail my progress. I know that I'm at a plateau. I mean, I haven't lost any weight. My weight has basically been the same since the 1st of April. So like everything I feel like is just at a standstill. I'm still doing great with ketones. It's the blood sugar that's just being ridiculous. So I'm rereading Dr. Fung's book, The Obesity Code. Did you know he took Jamie Moore off as an author? Didn't they write that together? Anyway, and then he has a second one, something about diabetes. I don't know. So I'm rereading those. I don't know if I will start intermittent fasting again. I mean, I basically do that, but I really try to eat intuitively. And I've said that many a times. One of the things that caused me, and causes a lot of kids, I think, to gain weight is when parents don't let kids dictate when they're full. And I know a lot of times they're like, but you're just going to want to eat 2 hours later. Well, kids have tiny stomachs. So when you make them clean their plate, or you overfeed them, then they stop listening to their hunger cues. That's why people say you can never overfeed an infant, because you can't. Because babies have a cue. They have that hunger cue and that full cue. So when they stop trying to take a bottle, or they stop trying to eat their food, that means their body has told them that they're done. You literally cannot overfeed a baby. You can starve a baby, but you cannot overfeed a baby. So a lot of times we lose those hunger and full cues along the way. And so I've been trying my hardest to get to a point where I can rely on those again. So it's 1 o'clock. I haven't had anything to eat today and I feel hungry. Like I feel physically hungry. It's not a mental hungry, it's a physical hunger. Like my stomach is growling, you may hear it. So I am physically hungry. And so when my body says, hey, give me food, I give it food. Someone, I don't remember the comment, who commented, because I don't think I responded to any on the last one because I felt so horrible. But someone said, you know, why do you not like carnivore? I thought you liked carnivore. I do like carnivore, and I float between keto and carnivore, because also eating intuitively means listening to my body when I'm craving something nutritious. So like I've been craving strawberries like crazy. So when I crave like fruit that we can have, or like vegetables that we can have, I have those. I put those in my diet because to me, that's my body telling me that they're not getting enough of that particular nutrient, and I give it to them. So I kind of float between carnivore and keto. I still, you know, like I still keep it very, very, very low carb as much as I can, but I do float kind of back and forth. So all that to say, I just feel like I'm at a standstill. Like I'm at a fork in the road and I have to decide which path to take. So I'm not switching off of keto or carnivore. I know so many people want me to go plant-based. So many people want me to do the starch solution. Even if I was plant-based, I still have to count carbs. I still have to be low carb because my body has a sensitivity to carbohydrates. Carbohydrates cause elevated blood glucose, especially when you're insulin resistant. So going plant-based, I mean, there'd be like 5 things I could eat. So I'm fine with keto. I'm fine with carnivore. I actually feel my absolute best when I'm doing mostly carnivore. So I'm going to stick with that. My debate and what I'm trying to decide is if I'm going to go ahead and try intermittent fasting, if I'm going to go ahead and just stop my insulin and see what happens for a few days, or you know, give it 2 weeks and see if I can, like, just getting it out of my system and having my body trying to control it through like its own, like trying itself. I don't know. I'm going to reread that book because it's been a while since I read it. I'm going to read the second book and then I'm going to decide what I'm going to do. So that's why I said I don't really have an update for you, because my blood sugars have been bullshit. I'm sure if I ran my average, it would be like 180 or 190. So yeah. So I ate the Aldi bread and I finished it. So I'm not going to have that again until June. I told Rob it sits well in the freezer. I'm glad to have it. But you know, if we're having, like, if I get a hankering for a sandwich or something like that, it's a better choice than eating regular bread. So yeah, that's kind of, like I said, this is a rambly mess because that's where my head is. It's a rambly mess. I'm just frustrated and I want off insulin. I want off insulin. I'm not going to get anything else accomplished until I get off insulin. So I'm going to have to make that my #1 focus, and maybe it's with intermittent fasting. Maybe it's just me going cold turkey and eating as very low carb as I can. Maybe go, you know, a couple of weeks without berries and stuff like that and just stick to, you know, meat and water. You know, I don't know. So anyway, I'm even, it's like, am I going to intermittent fast or am I going to count macros? Because when I very first started, I was counting macros. And the other thing is, like, I haven't lost any weight in my face. Well, I don't feel like I've lost any weight in my face. And if I can remember to throw up a screenshot, there is a huge difference between my face at the beginning of keto and my face 5 weeks later. And I just don't see that change in my face right now. So yeah, so I have a decision to make. And hopefully I will be informed enough to make that decision by next week to share with you guys. Now, I don't recommend going off insulin without your doctor, right? So please don't think that I'm just going to go cold turkey and without the supervision of my doctor. I see my endocrinologist at the 1st of June. I'll be putting a phone call into them and letting them know what's happening. And just, I test. Luckily, my meter and my supplies are free from my tribe. So that's why I haven't switched to something new. So I, you know, I can test up to 8 times a day because that's the prescription for my, you know, my strips, and I don't have to pay for them. I know not everybody can do that. So, but that's what I plan to do, is just keep a close eye on it, monitor it, and see what can happen. So I'm not giving up. I mean, I've been fighting the good fight since March of 2017. You know, it's just difficult, and I don't know. I'm just, like I said, Monday I wanted to binge. That's the first time I've had thoughts of binging or anything like that in months and months and months, but I didn't, because I can't derail what I've done. There might not be a whole lot of progress, but I feel like I've made decent progress. So let me know down below how you're doing. Please keep the comments nice. I'm not in the right frame of mind to deal with haters or assholes. So just be friendly, okay? Just be nice. But that's it, guys. So I am still filming. I posted that on Monday, a full week of what I eat on keto, from the time I wake up in my first bite and then until I go to bed in my last bite of the day. So I've been trying to film that, and yeah, so that may or may not be helpful to you. I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna go, and yeah. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. You guys are so supportive, and I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next Wednesday with hopefully a plan of action. So bye for now.